Ever wondered what would happen if your pet suddenly repeated the one thing you absolutely shouldn't have said? Well, in 1580, a Hungarian countess's parrot did just that. Squawked her secret love letters in front of the whole court.
Aha, Doodles.
Picture this, Paris 1601. King Henry Roman IV of France is ruling over a kingdom, still healing from decades of religious war. His court is a powder keg of gossip, intrigue, and backstabbing. And right in the middle of it all, a single parrot. The bird belonged to a nobleman, and it had one very bad habit: repeating everything it heard. One day, it overheard a scandalous insult about the queen and repeated it in front of the king. The king demanded to know who said it. The nobleman denied it, but the parrot kept squawking. The nobleman's rival saw his chance. He challenged him to a duel to defend the queen's honor. The duel ended with the nobleman dead, his reputation ruined, and the king's alliance with his family shattered, all because of one very confused bird. Take the Oracle of Delphi. You'd walk in, ask the gods a question, and the statue would answer with perfect, eerie timing. But here's the thing. That statue, it was hollow, and the priest, hiding behind it, talking through a tube. They called it the voice of Apollo. Turns out, it was just a guy with a megaphone made of clay. And it wasn't just Delphi. Temples from Egypt to Rome used the same trick. Hidden chambers, echoing hallways, and a very patient priest. The ancient Greeks even used this trick at the Temple of Claros, where a priest would pretend to be the voice of the god Apollo. And yeah, it worked. For hundreds of years. Meet Johann Conrad Amman, an 18th century doctor with a radical idea: lip-reading lessons for a curious canine. The man is Johann Conrad Amman, a doctor who treats deaf humans. Tonight he's trying something new, teaching a dog to read lips. His method: hold up a treat, mouth the word bread, then wait. The dog watches, sniffs, then paws up, tail wagging, begs. Amman scribbles in his journal, success. But here's the catch. The dog never says bread. It just learns the gesture means food. Still, Amman doubles down. He tries finger spelling, hand signals, even a tiny chalkboard around the dog's neck. The terrier masters tricks: sit, stay, roll over, but never Shakespeare. Amman's experiment may have been a flop, but scientist Dr. Alan Gardner later succeeded with a chimpanzee named Washoe, who learned over 200 signs. But here's what's wild. Amman's notes survive. Scientists today read them and grin, because this failed experiment, it proved one thing: animals can learn symbols. Not words, not sentences, but symbols, like a treat for bread or a paw raise for please. And that's the first crack in the door to animal language. Fast forward to 1897, Tennessee. You're in a packed tent, lanterns flickering, sawdust underfoot. At the center, a horse, beautiful Jim Key, taps his hoof on a wooden platform. The crowd gasps. Jim just spelled love, one letter at a time, by stepping on the right tiles. His owner, Professor George Washington Morrison Nutt, grins. Jim can read, write, and do math, he declares. Nutt's claims about Jim's skills were so famous that even the Boston Daily Globe wrote about this talented horse. But here's the truth. Jim wasn't reading. He was watching Nutt's face. Every time Jim got close to the right letter, Nutt's eyebrow twitched. A tiny signal. A human yes. Turns out, Jim's hoof spelling was actually a clever trick by Missouri trainer Sam Van Fleet, who'd secretly cue each tap with a hidden whistle. But here's the thing. Jim the horse could only answer questions humans already knew the answer to. What if an animal could tell you something you didn't know? Enter Washoe. 1967, Nevada desert. A baby chimp just 10 months old gets handed to two scientists like a very hairy, very loud experiment. Their goal: teach her American Sign Language. Not tricks, not guesses, actual conversation. And Washoe, she didn't just learn, she invented. Saw a swan for the first time, called it a water bird, made perfect sense. No one taught her that. But here's where it gets really interesting. Washoe had opinions, strong ones. Give me smoke, she signed. The scientists politely declined. Some doors, they decided, were better left unopened. Washoe didn't just talk. She argued. And yeah, that changed everything. Fast forward to Hawaii, where a marine biologist named Lou Herman was teaching dolphins to chat. No, not like your uncle at Thanksgiving, but with actual grammar rules. This is the Dolphin Institute, 1965. And these buttons, they are not toys. They are a keyboard. Press the fish button, you get a fish. Press the ball button, you get a ball. Simple. Except one dolphin, Elvar, starts doing something no one expected. He hits toy, swims to the ball, then mid-reach stops. Turns back, hits fish instead. The scientists freeze. Did he just second-guess himself? Here's the thing. Dolphins don't have hands. They can't point, can't hold. But they can plan. Elvar didn't just press buttons. He debated them. Like a kid in a candy store, picking, then changing his mind. Meet Alex, a bonobo who learned over 1,000 signs with researcher Sue Savage-Rumbaugh. Fast forward to 2018, Duke University's Canine Cognition Center, where scientists discovered dogs understand about 89 human words, roughly the vocab of a toddler who just discovered no and cookie. Meet the prairie dogs. They're not just squeaking. They're gossiping. Turns out their chirps aren't random. They describe size, shape, color, even speed. Scientists recorded thousands of chirps. Then they fed them to an AI. The AI started translating. And yes, it worked. Sort of. But prairie dogs are just the beginning. Bees are next. They're dances. A GPS for flowers. Scientists are teaching AI to read the waggles. Then there's the pigs. Their grunts change when they're happy, stressed, or just really bored. Dr. Sophia Yin found dogs make distinct sounds for different needs, like a canine version of a to-do list. You're still on that couch, keys lost, dog grinning. But here's the twist. What if he didn't want to talk back? Dr. Irene Pepperberg's African gray parrot, Alex, was a genius who learned over 100 words to identify objects and actions. They're escape artists, problem solvers, even pranksters. But when researchers try to teach them sign language, turns out Coco the gorilla did learn over 1,000 signs. She even blamed her kitten for ripping a sink off the wall. Classic pet-parent move. But the real kicker, the animal that might be the best conversationalist of all isn't a chimp, dolphin, or even a parrot. Step aside group chats. Dr. Kon Slobodchikov's 30-year Arizona field recordings proved prairie dogs run a gossip network that would make TMZ blush. A coyote. Tall, skinny, fast. A researcher in a blue jacket. Short, round, slow. They've got names for us. Turns out, those prairie dog linguists in Arizona's Santa Rita experimental range had a 92-word vocabulary, including human flavors like tall blue shirt guy and short red hat lady. Dr. Kon Slobodchikov led this project, decoding those clever critters' calls with astonishing accuracy.